I figured this was a good one to go through, talk about my own story. I think everybody's got that breaking point moment where they were like, "Fuck it, that's it. This is enough. This is gonna change now. I don't care how, I don't care why, where, when, but it's gonna change." And for me, at least I have a picture when I realized I hated my own body. See if I can put that up here somewhere. But right when I took this picture, I got back from work, and I remember working long days. We were working at a barn way up in fuck knows where, 2 3 hours away from home. There was four of us. We were all doing like property maintenance, sort of just shit jobs here and there, and we're digging out these barns for 5 6 hours a day, 7 hours a day, sometimes straight in the heat, 90 degrees, 100 degrees, throwing stuff in a dumpster, dragging stuff, throwing stuff in a dumpster, dragging stuff out. And which was a good job, great exercise. It paid well too. But I remember getting home from that job, sweating head to toe, still after a 2 hour commute, and just having the pain and feeling the judgment from 2 3 steps behind everybody. You know, you're always trying to catch up to them, huffing and puffing. You can just feel that. I don't know. I don't want to say aura, but I feel like the word fits well. You know, that aura of everybody else and casting judgment upon you, and you're trying to do your best and keep up. And well, when I took this picture, that was I puffed my stomach out a little bit. I remember more like taking it as a before picture because I knew I was going to change. I knew I was going to do this to this in a matter of 8 to 10 months. I didn't know how. I didn't know how long it was going to take. I didn't know where, when, why, but it was a moment of, I'm done feeling this pain and this is going to change. And I remember taking this picture thinking that. And from that point on, 8 months, 9 months ish, I lost about 80 pounds. So some of you might have too that point you can look back on, or maybe even a picture you can look back on, that breaking point where you were like, this is it. I'm done. I'm changing my circumstance, situation, scenario, whatever. I'm changing it now, today. It's happening. I don't care. There's a quote. I think it's Tony Robbins. I'll probably butcher it, but it's like, when the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of change, that's when you'll actually change. Something to that extent. But it is true. I think when you've felt and dealt with enough pain over a long enough duration of time, there comes a point where you're like, fuck it, I'm done. We're going all in. That's it. So yeah, for me, that was that picture right here. And I don't know. I look back on it and I think it's nice to have that picture, sure, but would it have been nice to not have to feel that full extent of the pain? Yeah, probably. Yeah. So some of the stuff I go over and talk about, hopefully that can help one, two, maybe three people. They're in a similar situation I was in. Maybe get out of it a little easier than I did. So when you're in that situation, or if you have been, maybe you can look back and understand what I'm saying a little bit more. But the constant broken promises to yourself is a big one. I think that's the lack of confidence, it's the lack of discipline. In one of the hardest things to do, because it's the only one that's going to know you broke that promise is you. Yeah. There's no outside guilt to feel, it's all internal. So if your internal dialogue is more on the negative side, those are going to continue to stack, continue to stack, continue to stack. And next thing you know, you're talking down upon yourself every single day. There's no positive inner dialogue, and thus spirals you downwards. So for most people, I think if you can stack wins, as they call it, whereas you feel like skipping a workout, not eating a meal, not doing something that you know you should do. And if you do it, that's discipline, right? But lean into that feeling. Whereas so you don't feel like getting something done flip it and be like, oh, this is good. This gives me a chance to build discipline, build confidence, gives me a chance to spin my situation and start reversing the inner dialogue to positive, right? So if you can continually stack wins and stack promises you made to yourself, going to the gym 5 days a week, whatever it may be for you, your plan you're following, not eating out on the weekends, not drinking like crazy with your friends on the week, whatever it is, if you can keep stacking those disciplinary wins over time, you build enough confidence to start spinning that dialogue the other way, if that makes sense. More towards positive self-talk, and yes, you can do it because you've got all this proof behind you that you did it 2, 3 weeks, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks in a row. So yeah, keep that in mind. If you can lean into it and really push into it, I think the next thing you know, you will be identifying as the disciplined one, the confident one, the one that shows up, the one that's winning in almost every single aspect of life, because it will start in fitness. Almost every single time starts in the gym. Somebody wants to get in shape, and then they get in shape, and then now they want to better their relationships, and they better their relationships. Now they want to better their finances, and they better their finances, and you keep stacking, and next thing you know, you're like, ooh, who the hell is that person? So focus on changing and start to spinning that in inner dialogue more towards positive. Because if you can constantly tell yourself you're going to do something, you can do something, you'll do it, right? Mind over matter, kind of like the mother that's able to pump enough adrenaline into her blood to lift a car off of her dying child, right? There's that analogy people use. It's like everything's in here. So if you can spin it to almost the point of delusion, you can accomplish almost anything. So now, definitely continue to stack wins. Stop thinking negative and talking down upon yourself, because we all have been in your situation. I mean, some of us may even have been in it worse and climbed out of that. And yeah, somebody probably has had it worse or is currently dealing with it much worse than you are or we are. So doesn't give us a whole lot of reasons to complain. So remember that and shift it more towards delusion. Life will slowly start to change. But yeah, I definitely realized I hated myself in that moment, not because of how I looked. It's really nothing to do with how you look. I mean, sure, are you, is it hard to take your shirt off at the beach? Do most guys hate taking their shirt off at the beach? Yeah, most guys hate taking their shirt off at the beach. So it's more about mindset and trying to spin it correctly without rambling on, but it's a reflection of your day-to-day habits and the promises that you've broken with yourself, if that makes sense. So every time you see somebody else in shape or you see yourself not in shape, every single mirror you walk into, it's a reminder of all the promises you broke to yourself, all the workouts you skipped, all the meals you overate like crazy, all the Ben and Jerry's you ate, all the Netflix you watched. It's a constant reminder of that, and which starts to spin the inner dialogue negative, 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 negative. Next thing you know, you're 6-7 months in a repeated pattern and you're 80 pounds up instead of your start goal was 80 pounds down. So a lot of it's physical, sure, but I think 90% of it's all mental. If you can master the mental inner dialogue, like I said earlier, the almost self-delusion, and truly, nobody's going to do it for you. So it's almost like they always say, believe in yourself, right? But truly, you do have to spin it to a positive point of delusion in most cases, because in today's standards, normal it's not where most people want to be. Well, at least if you're watching this video, I would think. So, yeah, believe in yourself. Slowly start to change your habits. It'll change your body, and it'll change your life. And there's something I can leave you with, it is start to think positive about yourself. And if you're in that position and you're in that starter photo where I was here, where I hated my life and I was like, fuck it, I'm changing everything, realize that it's possible. You know, millions of people have done it. It's not rocket science, but it is mental science. And in order to have a transformation like this, I don't mean to keep putting it up here, but to have that transformation, you need to have the mental attributes to reach this end goal. And these GLP-1s, the quick way, it's not gonna do it because it's all 90% mental. You know, 10% physical is only gonna get you so far, and that's why most people yo-yo their whole life. So, yeah, again, change your habits, change your life. Simple as that. And yeah, if somebody's in the same situation as I was in, feel free to leave a comment or hit me up in the DMs on Instagram. Be happy to go over anything. I always answer DMs, so talk about whatever. But yeah, again, I hope all this helps, and enjoy the rest of your morning, night, day, wherever you're watching this, and peace.